Hello, I'm Dr. Robert Clark. For more than 30 years, I've had the privilege of sitting with thousands of patients, helping them navigate the unique health challenges and opportunities that come with life after 60. Today, I want to talk about something that I see every single day in my practice, something that causes a great deal of quiet fear and confusion: high blood sugar. Let's start with a fact that should stop us all in our tracks. Did you know that right now, in the United States, more than 1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 is living with diabetes, and millions more are in the stage right before it, called prediabetes. This isn't just a statistic, it's a silent epidemic that is robbing too many of our friends, our family members, and ourselves of the vibrant, energetic retirement we all deserve. The good news, and it is truly wonderful news, is that you hold an incredible amount of power to change that statistic, and that power begins right at the end of your fork. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 specific powerful superfoods that my patients have used to help lower their blood sugar, protect their vital organs like their kidneys, and that fit easily and affordably into your life. Before we begin, please remember that this is for educational purposes. I am a doctor, but I am not your doctor. Always consult with your own healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet or health regimen. Now, before we open the pantry, it's critically important that we understand why controlling blood sugar after 60 is so much more than just a number on a lab report. As we age, our bodies naturally become more resistant to insulin. I want you to imagine insulin is a key. Its job is to unlock the door to your body's cells to let sugar or glucose inside to be used for energy. When we're young, this process is smooth. The key fits, the door opens, no problem. But as we get older, that lock can get a bit rusty and stubborn. This is insulin resistance. The pancreas, which produces the insulin, has to make more and more keys, trying desperately to jam that lock open. It's essentially shouting at the cells to get them to listen. Over time, this constant shouting wears out the pancreas and it can't keep up anymore. That's when sugar starts to build up in the bloodstream where it absolutely does not belong. I remember a patient of mine, a wonderful gentleman named George. For years, his A1C, which is a measure of your average blood sugar, was just a little high. He'd call it a touch of sugar. He wasn't on medication yet, and he felt fine, so he didn't see the urgency. But what he couldn't feel was that constant low-grade damage happening inside his body. Think of high blood sugar in your bloodstream as being like sticky, corrosive syrup flowing through the most delicate pipes in your home. This syrup damages the fragile walls of your blood vessels. And where are the most delicate blood vessels found? In your eyes, your heart, and especially in your kidneys. Your kidneys are your body's master filtration system, working tirelessly to clean your blood. When that blood is thick and syrupy with sugar, the tiny filters in the kidneys get clogged and damaged. They have to work harder and harder, under immense pressure, until they start to fail. This is why diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure. Have you ever noticed your ankles swelling at the end of the day, or felt a level of fatigue that just doesn't seem right? These can be subtle, early signs that your kidneys are under strain. George's wake-up call came when his doctor told him his kidney function was starting to decline. The fear in his eyes was palpable. It was only then that he was ready to make a change. The path back was harder for him than if he'd started years earlier, but he did it. And you can, too. The foods we are about to discuss are the very tools that can help clean out that syrupy buildup, reduce the strain on your pancreas, and protect those precious kidney filters. All right, let's get practical and head into the kitchen. Our first superfood is probably the one your own mother told you to eat, and she was absolutely right. It's leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. Now, you might be thinking, of course vegetables are good for you. But let's look at the science of why they are a powerhouse against high blood sugar. First, they are packed with magnesium. I like to think of magnesium as the oil that lubricates that rusty lock on your cells. It's a critical cofactor, a helper molecule that allows your own insulin to work more efficiently. When you have enough magnesium, That qi slides in much more easily, and your pancreas doesn't have to work nearly as hard. Second, they are full of fiber. This fiber acts like a sponge in your digestive system, slowing down the absorption of any sugars or carbohydrates you eat, which prevents those sudden, damaging spikes in your blood glucose after a meal. For your kidneys, leafy greens are a gift. They're naturally low in sodium, and compared to other vegetables like potatoes, they have a manageable amount of potassium, making them a safe and gentle choice for keeping your internal filtration system healthy. Now, I must address a very common concern I hear, especially from patients on the blood thinner warfarin, or Coumadin. A patient of mine, Sarah, came to me convinced she could never eat a salad again because she was told to avoid vitamin K. This is a dangerous misunderstanding. The key with warfarin is not avoidance, it's consistency. Your medication dose is carefully calibrated to your normal diet. If you eat a small salad 2 or 3 times a week, that's perfectly fine. Your body and your doctor will adjust. The problem arises if you eat no greens for a month and then suddenly eat a giant kale salad every day for a week. So, the goal is to incorporate a consistent, reasonable amount of these healthy greens into your diet. Don't be afraid of them. Start small. You can wilt a large handful of spinach into your morning eggs. It cooks down to almost nothing. You can blend it into a fruit smoothie. I promise you won't even taste it. Or you can add it to soups and stews in the last few minutes of cooking. Pre-washed bags make it incredibly easy. Our second food is one that truly feels like a treat. Berries. I'm talking about blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These little jewels are nature's candy, and they are phenomenal for blood sugar control. Their magic comes from powerful compounds called anthocyanins. These are the pigments that give berries their beautiful red and blue colors, but they do so much more. They act as potent antioxidants and have been shown in studies to improve insulin sensitivity directly. They help repair the communication channels between your insulin and your cells, making your body more responsive to the insulin you already produce. For your kidneys, these antioxidants are like a rust-proofing treatment. High blood sugar causes something called oxidative stress, which is essentially the rusting of your internal organs, including the delicate filters of the kidneys. The antioxidants in berries help to neutralize this process, protecting your kidneys from long-term damage. Here's a question for you. Do you find yourself reaching for a cookie or a piece of candy after dinner? What if you replace that with a small bowl of mixed berries, maybe with a dollop of plain yogurt? You would be satisfying your sweet tooth while actively fighting insulin resistance. For convenience and affordability, don't hesitate to buy them frozen. They are picked and frozen at peak ripeness, so you lose none of the nutritional value, and they are perfect for adding to our next food. That third food is steel-cut oats. I must be very specific here. I am not talking about the instant oatmeal packets that are often loaded with sugar. I am talking about the chewy, nutty, slow-cooking steel-cut or rolled oats. The hero in oats is a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. When this fiber mixes with liquid in your stomach, it forms a thick, viscous gel. This gel dramatically slows down digestion. It encases the carbohydrates from your meal and releases them slowly and steadily into your bloodstream, like a time-release capsule. This prevents the blood sugar surge you get from a piece of toast or a sugary cereal. This high-fiber content also takes a load off your kidneys by aiding in the removal of waste from the body. Now, a quick note on medications. Because this fiber slows down all absorption, it's wise to take your diabetes medications and other important pills about 1 hour before or 2 hours after you eat a high-fiber meal like oatmeal. This just gives the medication a head start to ensure it's fully absorbed. Making overnight oats is a wonderful trick. Just soak the oats in milk or water in the fridge overnight. In the morning, top them with a handful of those berries and some nuts, and you have a breakfast that will keep your blood sugar stable and your energy high all morning long. Our fourth food brings us to the importance of healthy fats. specifically from fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and albacore tuna. For decades, many people were taught to fear fat, but we now know that the type of fat you eat is what truly matters. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds you can eat. I want you to think of chronic, low-grade inflammation as a kind of static inside your body. It's a constant, humming noise that interferes with all sorts of communication signals, including the signal from insulin. When your body is inflamed, your cells can't hear the insulin very well, which is a major driver of insulin resistance. Omega-3s help to turn down the volume on that static, clearing the lines of communication so your insulin can do its job effectively. For your kidneys, this is a double win. First, reducing inflammation protects those delicate kidney filters. Second, fish provides a very high-quality source of protein. This means your body can use it very efficiently, creating far less metabolic waste for your kidneys to clean up compared to processed or red meats. I had a patient, David, a retired mechanic, who told me point blank, "Doc, I don't do fish." He thought it was too expensive, too difficult to cook, and he wasn't fond of the taste. So we started simple. I suggested he try canned salmon. It's incredibly affordable, requires no cooking, and has a mild flavor. We created a simple recipe for him. 1 can of salmon mashed up with a bit of plain Greek yogurt, some chopped celery, and a squeeze of lemon juice, served over a bed of spinach. He tried it, and to his surprise, he loved it. It became his go-to lunch 3 times a week. After just a few months, the inflammatory markers in his blood work had dropped significantly, and his blood pressure, which puts strain on the kidneys, had also improved. Don't overlook the humble sardine either. They are packed with omega-3s and calcium and are one of the most sustainable and affordable options available. Next up, at number 5, is one of the most underrated, budget-friendly, and powerful food groups on the planet: beans and lentils. Whether it's chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, or lentils, these legumes are the undisputed champions of blood sugar stability. They contain a magical combination of high-quality plant-based protein and an enormous amount of soluble fiber. This dynamic duo creates the ultimate slow-release fuel. When you eat a meal with beans or lentils, your blood sugar rises in a very slow, gentle, predictable curve, rather than a sharp, dangerous spike. This gives your body plenty of time to manage the glucose without overwhelming your system. But here's where they become true superstars for anyone over 60. Their impact on kidney health. Every time you eat protein, your body breaks it down and creates waste products that your kidneys must filter out. However, the type of waste created from plant protein is very different from the waste created by animal protein, especially red meat. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine your kidneys have a job to do, which is to carry boxes of waste out of your body. The waste from red meat is like a heavy, oversized, waterlogged cardboard box. It's difficult to handle and puts a lot of strain on the worker. The waste from plant protein, like beans, is like a lightweight, well-balanced backpack. It's easy to carry and puts minimal strain on the worker. When you choose beans over beef, you are literally giving your kidneys a lighter load to carry, day in and day out. Here's a question for your next meal. Could you swap the meat for beans? Perhaps a hearty black bean burger instead of a beef patty, or a rich lentil soup as the main course. Even starting by replacing half the ground meat in your chili or pasta sauce with lentils can make a massive difference in the workload you're placing on your kidneys. Our 6th food is another healthy fat source that makes for a perfect snack: nuts, especially almonds and walnuts. Nuts are a trifecta of health benefits, containing monounsaturated fats, fiber, and that all-important mineral, magnesium. The healthy fats and fiber work together to promote satiety, which is the feeling of being full and satisfied. This is incredibly important for blood sugar management. I had a patient, Maria, whose blood sugar would be perfect all day, but she'd get a big spike in the late afternoon. When we looked at her food log, we found the culprit. Her afternoon snack was usually a handful of crackers or a low-fat granola bar, both of which are highly processed carbohydrates that turn to sugar almost instantly. She was hungry, and she was reaching for the wrong thing. Our solution was simple. On Sunday, she would portion out a small handful of raw, unsalted almonds into 7 small bags for the week. When 3 p.m. rolled around, she had her pre-portioned, healthy snack ready. The change was immediate. The fat and fiber in the nuts kept her full until dinner. Her afternoon energy crash disappeared, and her blood sugar readings flatlined in the healthy range. Just remember, nuts are calorie-dense, so portion control is key. A small handful, about 1/4 of a cup, is all you need. Moving on to number 7. Let's talk about a root vegetable that often gets unfairly grouped in with other starches, the sweet potato. Many of my patients are initially scared of all potatoes, believing they are forbidden on a blood sugar-friendly diet. But the sweet potato is a completely different animal compared to a white russet potato. The difference lies in how your body digests them. A white potato is digested very quickly, hitting your bloodstream like a flash flood of sugar. A sweet potato, on the other hand, is packed with fiber and a type of carbohydrate that breaks down very slowly. I like to use a fireplace analogy. A white potato is like throwing dry kindling on the fire. You get a big, fast, hot flame that dies out quickly. A sweet potato is like putting a dense, heavy log on the fire. It burns slowly and steadily, providing consistent energy for hours. This slow burn prevents blood sugar spikes and keeps you feeling full and satisfied. Now, it is very important that we address the potassium content. For most people, the potassium in sweet potatoes is beneficial for blood pressure. However, if your doctor has specifically told you that your kidneys are struggling to process potassium, this is a food where portion control is paramount. This doesn't mean you can never eat them, but it does mean that a sensible portion of about half a cup is the right amount, not a giant, oversized potato, and how you prepare it matters immensely. Forget the candied yams topped with marshmallows and brown sugar. Instead, try cubing a sweet potato, tossing it with a little olive oil, rosemary, and a pinch of salt, and roasting it in the oven until it's tender and caramelized. It's a delicious, savory side dish that will support, not sabotage, your health goals. Our 8th food is a staple in my own refrigerator: plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. The key words here are plain and unsweetened. The fruit on the bottom or vanilla-flavored varieties are often no better than pudding, loaded with staggering amounts of added sugar. Plain Greek yogurt, however, is a nutritional powerhouse. First, it is incredibly high in protein. When you eat protein along with carbohydrates, the protein acts like a brake, slowing down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. This is why a breakfast of Greek yogurt with berries will have a much gentler effect on your blood sugar than a glass of orange juice and a piece of toast. I had a patient, Eleanor, whose biggest struggle was her morning blood sugar reading. She thought she was being healthy with her small glass of juice, but it was causing a massive spike. We swapped it for a bowl of plain Greek yogurt topped with a handful of blueberries and a sprinkle of walnuts. The change was remarkable. Her morning spike vanished, and the protein and healthy fat kept her feeling full and energetic all the way until lunch. Beyond the protein, Greek yogurt is also rich in probiotics, the beneficial bacteria that live in your gut. A growing body of research shows a powerful link between a healthy gut and better blood sugar control. As with sweet potatoes, if you have advanced kidney disease, you should talk to your doctor about the potassium and phosphorus content. But for most, it is an excellent choice. Number 9 is the wonderfully creamy and versatile avocado. For years, this fruit was demonized for its high-fat content, but we now know that the monounsaturated fat in avocados is one of the best things you can eat for your metabolic health. This type of fat is a champion at improving insulin sensitivity. If we go back to our key and lock analogy, the monounsaturated fats in avocado help to clean and lubricate that rusty lock on your cells, making them far more receptive to the insulin key. This means your pancreas can whisper instead of shout, reducing strain and preserving its function for years to come. However, I must be very clear. Avocados are very high in potassium. For someone with healthy kidneys, this is a great thing. But if you are on a potassium restriction, you must be careful. A safe serving size is about 1/4 of a medium avocado. You can spread it on whole grain toast instead of butter, add a few slices to your salad, or blend it into a smoothie for a creamy texture. Finally, at number 10, we have a cruciferous champion, broccoli. We all know broccoli is good for us, but it contains a unique compound called sulforaphane, which has a fascinating and specific benefit for blood sugar. While most of the foods we've discussed help manage the sugar coming in from your diet, sulforaphane works on a different pathway. It actually signals your liver to produce less glucose on its own. Many people don't realize that the liver is constantly making and releasing sugar to fuel your body, but in people with insulin resistance, this process can go into overdrive. Sulforaphane helps to turn down that internal sugar faucet, tackling the problem from a whole different angle. And just like its leafy green cousins, remember that if you are on warfarin, the goal is to keep your intake of vitamin K-rich foods like broccoli consistent from week to week. For the best nutritional benefit, try lightly steaming or roasting it. Frozen broccoli is just as nutritious and incredibly convenient to have on hand. Now that we have our list of 10 superfoods, I want to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, specifically how these foods work together as a team to protect your kidneys. It's not just that one food does one thing, it's the beautiful synergy between them that provides such powerful protection. Think of it like a dedicated crew of workers whose only job is to care for your body, its filtration system. The antioxidants, like the anthocyanins in the berries and the sulforaphane in the broccoli, are the maintenance crew. They go around repairing the daily wear and tear, patching up damage from oxidative stress, and essentially preventing the delicate kidney filters from rusting over time. Then you have the plant-based proteins from the beans, lentils, and nuts. These are your efficient, clean energy workers. They provide the building blocks your body needs while creating very little metabolic waste, giving your kidneys a much lighter workload compared to the heavy, messy job of cleaning up after red and processed meats. Next, you have the incredible amount of fiber from the oats, leafy greens, and beans. This is your cleanup crew. Fiber helps bind to waste products in your digestive tract and ensures they are removed efficiently, which means fewer toxins end up in your bloodstream for your kidneys to deal with in the first place. Finally, this entire way of eating, rich in healthy fats from fish and avocados, and naturally low in the sodium you'd find in processed foods, helps to manage your blood pressure. High blood pressure is like forcing water through your home's pipes at an incredibly high pressure 24 hours a day. Eventually, those pipes will wear out and break. By keeping your blood pressure in a healthy range, you are reducing that constant physical strain on your blood vessels and kidneys. When you combine all these effects, you're not just managing your blood sugar, you're creating a comprehensive support system for your long-term kidney health. Now, let's talk more about medications, because it's vital to integrate these foods safely. The interaction between vitamin K and the blood thinner warfarin is, by far, the biggest point of confusion I see. Let me be as clear as I can be. It is a myth that you have to avoid healthy green vegetables if you are on warfarin. In fact, avoiding them can make your levels harder to control. Your doctor and pharmacist set your medication dose based on your current, stable diet. The key word is stable. If you normally have a side of broccoli with dinner 3 times a week, that is perfectly fine. Continue doing that. The danger comes from drastic changes. If you go from eating no greens to suddenly drinking a large kale smoothie every morning, that surge in vitamin K will interfere with your medication. The goal is consistency, not avoidance. Introduce these healthy foods in a steady, predictable way. For those on diabetes medications like metformin, let's revisit the fiber issue with a clearer analogy. Imagine your medication is a passenger on a train that needs to get off at the very first station to be absorbed into your bloodstream. A high-fiber meal of steel-cut oats or beans creates a very slow-moving train with many, many passengers. If your medication gets on board at the same time as all that fiber, it might get stuck in the crowd and miss its stop. By taking your pill an hour before you eat, you're essentially giving it a ticket for an express train with no stops, ensuring it gets to its destination and absorbed properly. And while it's not on our top 10 list, I must mention grapefruit. Grapefruit contains a compound that blocks a key enzyme in your liver that is responsible for breaking down dozens of common medications, including many statins for cholesterol and some blood pressure pills. Never add grapefruit or its juice to your diet without explicitly clearing it with your doctor or pharmacist first. Finally, let's put it all together into a sample day. This isn't a rigid prescription, but a blueprint for success. For breakfast, imagine a warm bowl of steel-cut oats, made creamy with unsweetened almond milk and a dash of cinnamon. Top it with a handful of blueberries and a few chopped walnuts. For lunch, a vibrant salad. Start with a big bed of spinach, top it with a scoop of salmon salad, made with mashed avocado instead of mayo, and a few slices of fresh tomato. For dinner, a hearty, warming bowl of lentil soup, with a side of roasted sweet potato wedges and steamed broccoli drizzled with a little heart-healthy olive oil. For snacks, a small handful of almonds or a small bowl of plain Greek yogurt. See how we've effortlessly included almost all of our superfoods? The key is to plan ahead. Cook a big batch of oats or soup on the weekend. Wash and chop your vegetables so they're ready to go. Success comes from making the healthy choice the easy choice. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I want to leave you with a few key thoughts. We've talked about 10 specific foods, but the true power lies in the principles behind them. The goal is to shift your plate towards whole, unprocessed foods that are rich in fiber, brimming with nutrients, packed with healthy fats, and centered on clean proteins. I want you to think of your body as a high-performance engine. For years, perhaps without even realizing it, you may have been putting low-grade dirty fuel into the tank. This causes the engine to sputter, run inefficiently, and eventually, parts start to break down. These 10 foods, and the way of eating they represent, are the premium, clean-burning fuel your engine was designed for. And the most wonderful thing is this: it is never, ever too late to start filling your tank with the right fuel. The human body has a miraculous capacity to heal when given the proper tools. Your 2 most important tools on this journey will be consistency over perfection, and a mindful approach to portion control. This brings me to my most important point. This information is meant to empower you, to give you a roadmap and a sense of hope. But it is not a prescription. Your health journey is as unique as your fingerprint. Your medical history, your kidney function, the specific medications you take, all of these factors create a unique picture that only you and your healthcare team can see fully. Please use what you've learned today as a starting point to have a more informed, productive conversation with your own doctor, dietitian, or pharmacist. They are your most vital partners in health. Together, you can tailor this advice to create a plan that is perfect and perfectly safe for you. Now, I would be honored to hear from you. In the comments below, please share which of these foods you're most excited to try. Or perhaps you have a favorite blood sugar-friendly recipe that you'd be willing to share with our community. Your experience could be the spark of inspiration that someone else needs to see today. If you found this information helpful and want more evidence-based, practical advice for living your healthiest life after 60, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell. I have so much more I want to share with you. Be sure to watch my next video on the best exercises for seniors with diabetes. The perfect companion to what we've learned today. I'm Dr. Robert Clark. Thank you for taking this time for your health. It is the greatest investment you will ever make. Be well.